much as I wanted to make a video talking about credit cards and points and little percentages, there are bigger subjects that I think should be talked. Now, this is a friend of mine, so I can't use names, I can't use specifics, but I can use the story to make an example out of it.
Hi guys and welcome to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel, we're talking about points, credit, we're talking about points, bonuses, and travel. Why do I need to say that? I would like to say something smarter. Like what's smart about credit cards?
No.
We're talking about points, credit cards, bonuses, and travel. If this is something that interests you, please like this video, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Bravo.
Now, I have a friend, let's call him Alan. So Alan is a friend of mine that I have very open relationship with in the terms that we talk about openly about financial issues, struggles, aspirations. So we have a lot of back and forth and exchange ideas. Very nice, hardworking, average American. The guy is really a family man. He loves his job, he loves his family, and it's somebody that I feel very close to. It wasn't long until I realized that Alan had some financial issues that would prevent him from traveling, taking a nice vacation with his family. So I was all up for the task. I said, hey, and this is how I came out about my YouTube channel to him. That's how I revealed that I do this thing. I said, listen, I like points and miles, and I'm doing this with credit cards, and this is how I've been traveling. You kept asking me how I'm doing it. I'm telling you how I'm doing it. So I started giving him advice on credit cards. He was all for American Express. He didn't want to hear anything about Chase at the time. So we went from American Express to American Express, got a couple of credit cards, the gold and the platinum. At the time, 150,000 to 60,000 points on the gold. He got a sign-up bonus in one summer of 210,000 points plus all the spending. So he had about 240,000 points within a summer. Now, I made sure to tell him that, hey, you need to spend these points wisely, ideally flights. Wherever you go, make sure you have hotel arrangements. Don't go over budget because then you're going to regret. It's very easy to get into this game and lose control. But this is the thing. If you don't have self-control before you get into this game, you're certainly not going to get it after you get into the game. And this is what happened with Alan. A few things about Alan before we go any further. Has a house, had a second home that he was renting, one that he was living, one that he was renting. So 2 homes, 2 cars, on loans, 2 kids in a private school, 1 kid in public school, and a bunch of credit card debt. The whole deal about getting the credit cards I proposed was that he would use them so he doesn't go further in debt. I thought I was doing the right thing for him. Now keep in mind that this is at the beginning of all this craziness in the housing market. The house prices kept going up, and at some point he came to me and he said, hey, listen, my home worth a whole lot more than what I bought it for. There's a lot of value for me there. Should I sell and pay off all my debts? Keep in mind that all his debts was very high interest rate, right? It was all credit card debt, or most of it. So I said yes, because, okay, the house gives you 5%, but your debts cost you 20%. So of course you're going to get 15%. Just get rid of it and pay off everything. But we're talking about some dozens of thousands of dollars. He sold it, paid off everything, had about $15,000 left, and now he's good. He comes back the next day, all happy. I slept great. Oh my God, this is the best thing I ever did. $15,000 in the bank and 0 debt. Basically a second chance in life. Now I said, listen, whatever you do from now on, make sure that there's no debt. You save, you go, and get done with it. Or if you have points, spend the points. He ensured me that things would go exactly as planned. 2 days later, he announced plans to go on his first vacation of the summer. He goes on his first vacation. He comes back in state, within the state. How much did you spend? $6,000 for 1 week in a lake home in the state. We're talking a drive of an hour and a half to a lake and spend about $1,000 a day on a mansion-like home in a lake. I freaked out, but I knew he had $15,000 to burn, or not burn, but at least, not go under. So he told me he spent basically half of that. Now, at this point, I'm getting worried that this guy doesn't know what he's doing with his money. Sure enough, a week later, announces another vacation in Las Vegas and another vacation in Florida. So at the end of the summer, out of curiosity at this point, and I was really worried, I said, "How are you doing financially?" He was back in debt, and it was all credit card debt. Now at this point, I see him all stressed out. I say, "How come you don't take the kids out of the private school for a year, pay off these debts, get done with it?" "No, this is a sacrifice I'm doing for my kids, and I don't want to do it. I prefer to keep donating plasma, already donating plasma, keep donating plasma, getting a little money so I can pay off the schools." Doesn't make sense to me, guys, but that was the answer. At the beginning of the year, we had another conversation, and he was telling me how hard it is to pay for groceries. Even though the wife works, he makes very decent money. The wife makes okay money, but combined, they should be more than enough. I mean, their mortgage payment is less than my rent. But anyway, he comes back to me. He says that he is all sad, that red eyes, I have issues buying groceries, I don't know what else to do. He tells me that he wants to talk to his boss, asking a good promotion or a good raise. Otherwise, there's no other option for him but leaving the company. I told him what to say. I told him when to say it. He went, he talked to him, open-hearted, explained the issue. His boss is obviously a very nice guy because he came back a few days later telling him that he's giving him almost 20% increase. Guys, I don't know where you're working, but 20%, it's not something that everybody gives. So obviously they appreciate him. They know that he's a hard worker man, he's a good man, and they gave him 20%. He's all happy. At this point, he sees everything optimistically, everything is gonna be fine. And the first thing I tell him is, don't spend the money. Make sure that you don't inflate your lifestyle, because you can always spend more than what you make. And he looked at me dead in the eye saying, "I'll never gonna do that again." And then a few days ago, he comes back to me and says, "We're planning to get a pool." I'm like, "What do you mean get a pool? Like those, the pools that you put on the ground and they look like a big bowl?" "Oh, no. An underground pool, like dig and actually build a nice pool." I'm like, "How much is that?" $100,000. At this point, I'm freaking out. I'm like, "What are you talking about, $100,000? Do you have any other debt?" He's like, "Oh, don't get me started about how much debt I have." What are you thinking? "Oh, I want to enjoy now that my kids are young because then they're going to leave the house." I'm like, don't blame it on your kids. Blame it on you. You and your wife are the ones that want the pool. Because if you tell your kids in the future that I did this for you and therefore I'm miserable and please help me, then it's on you. They're going to say, "I didn't ask for a pool. You were the ones that wanted the pool." Do you have any idea the maintenance? And do you have any idea the actual percentage of usage? I know many people that have pools in their homes. They use them maximum 10 days in the summertime, and that's it. I say you're going to use it for the first summer, maybe the whole summer, but after that, it's going to get old. And at this point, he tells me, "Well, talk to my wife." Why are you blaming it to your wife? You are the one that's telling me this. You are the one that's making most of the money. So the moral of this is this. Credit cards are not for everyone. If you are somebody that is not well-rounded individual, if you can't say no, if you try to keep up with the Joneses, and I have a very good reason to say that, but I don't want to get into more details because I don't want to give more information. And you try to blame this to other people, then you have an issue. Then you shouldn't be talking about credit cards, owning credit cards. It's not for you. Go watch Dave Ramsey. This is not a channel for you. Dave Ramsey is the only one that can help you really. And unfortunately, I feel bad for the guy. I gave stories a few times here about my situation at the beginning when I moved to this country, how I went into credit card debt, and how credit cards ironically helped me get away from credit card debt. But this is not for everyone. If you don't have the basic self-discipline, it's not a game for you. You have other issues. You can put marriage issues, social issues, and solve them all with credit card debt because you're trying to inflate your life. He actually told me that if he was trying to do this the right way and save the money, he would never have it, even if he lived twice. To which I answered, then you shouldn't have a pool. You can't have bread without having the dough. You need to have the dough in order to make bread. But that's the moral of the video, guys. This game is not for everyone. I know most of you are very responsible. I've seen it in the answers you've given me. In all the polls I'm posting, it looks like most of you, the vast majority of you, don't even have credit card debt, or even if you do it strategically because you own businesses. So good for you. I'm happy. I'm happy that I have this amazing people watching my videos. But keep in mind that this is not for everyone. Thank you so much for watching. But let me know if you know any people like this. What kind of advice would you give them? Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one. Ciao.